What's up, y'all? It's Miles the Millennial, and we're back with another episode of Change Your Mind, Change Your Life University, the podcast experience. And this is episode 3. Episode 3 is going to hit really hard, and it's going to hit home for us because we're going to be talking about the difference between happenstance and habit, right? For most of us, we might not even understand what that means and what the difference between the two is. But I'm going to break them down to you today in a story format. And once I get through the story, I'll explain the differences between the two and what mindset you're going to want to adopt in order to live the life that you want to live. So let's hop right into it. So I'm going to tell you this story. There was about a week ago, my friend, she wanted to sign back up for therapy. In the past, she had tried therapy and the sessions were cool, but her main issue was the fact that the therapist always showed up late. Every single time around the clock, there was no respect for her time. Got to a point to where she was like, look, my therapist is always late. I don't feel like this person really cares about being here. I don't feel like I'm getting what I want out of this experience. And so she stopped going, right? That therapist had built a reputation because of their habits, and it wasn't a good one. It wasn't happenstance that that therapist kept showing up 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes late to their appointments. It was habit that was causing it. And so she went into finally signing up again. I had talked her into signing up again and trying to get out. And she mentioned that in the first session, this new therapist was 10 minutes late, right? The difference is this person, of course, sent a text message, let them know that they were on the way, but it brought up some trauma. It brought up some memories of her saying, man, the last time I had a therapist, they were doing this exact same thing. And I sent her a message and I said, look, let's just pray that this is a result of happenstance and not a result of habit. What I mean by that is this. There's a difference between happenstance and habit. You see, when things happen by happenstance, it's because something out of our normal routine, something out of our control took place that caused the result to be different than what was expected, right? That could be a positive difference or a negative difference, but happenstance is things that do not usually occurring. Habit is the exact opposite. Habit is when something happens because of your actions that you are repeatedly making, right? Habit is who you are. Habit is how you're actually showing up to the world and how your your reputation is actually being presented to people, right? Your habits will make a name for you long before you will ever make a name for yourself, right? And so we have to understand the difference between happenstance and habit and dive into a conversation on really which one do you want to be in your life, right? So let's break down some examples of habit. So for my students, habit would be you always being late to show up for class, right? You're consistently running at the last minute to beat the bell, and you're either barely making it in time or you're showing up late and getting tardies, right? Habit is every single day when it's time for practice, you don't have your shoes. You don't have your band equipment. You don't have a pencil for class. That's habit. When every single day or on a consistent enough basis, you're finding yourself in similar circumstances. That is not the result of happenstance. That is the result of habit. For my professionals, habit is the fact that you know you have a meeting every morning at 9 o'clock, but yet you find yourself barely making it in time or running to that meeting or coming in a little bit late. You find yourself always having to send that message, hey, I'm running just a little bit behind. I'll be there in just a second. Habit is always skipping out on the gym, skipping out on your personal goals, not being able to get your finances to a certain area because you make impulsive purchases. That is habit. It's not happenstance, right? But I'm going to tell you guys something that we oftentimes do. You see, when we have a deficit mindset, a losing mindset, we will call the things that are a result of habit happenstance. We will blame them on happenstance, right? So as a professional, you'll in an adult, you'll blame the fact that you couldn't get your money right and save your money on the fact that, oh, there was a sale that popped up and I just really needed to grab these clothes. You didn't. You made a choice, and that choice was a result of your impulsive habits. That's why your money didn't save that month and you actually used it on things that you didn't actually need. That is habit. The sale is not happenstance. Your actions were habit. Habit is the fact that you consistently do not hit your fitness or dietary goals because every time you pass by a fast food restaurant, you choose to do the thing that's more convenient than the thing that's actually going to help you. You not gaining any weight is not a result of happenstance. It's a result of habit. In your professional life, always being late to those meetings, people feeling like they can't depend on you, you not being prepared. That is a result of habit. That's not a result of happenstance. You knew that traffic was going to be bad that day. Traffic is bad every single morning on your way to work. You know that if you want to make it in time and not be rushed, you should have left that house 15, 20, 30 minutes earlier. But you chose to play it close. You chose to stay in the bed a little bit longer. You chose to make certain decisions in your routine that didn't allow you to be prepared and ahead of time. That is a result of habit. Your tardiness is not a result of happenstance. For my students, the fact that you're always rushing to class is not a result of happenstance. It's a result of your habits, right? You chose to play around with your friends in the hallway and spend time with them. You chose to walk your girlfriend or your boyfriend to class when you know you needed to make it to your class across the school, and now you're running as soon as you drop them off. You chose to show up to practice that day, and because you didn't think about it the night before, you left your shorts or your cleats or whatever it is that you needed. You're the one that's making the decisions on a daily basis that when you go to class, you don't have a pencil, you don't have paper, and you're always having to ask somebody else because you didn't prepare. That is a result of habit, not happenstance. And we have to understand that in a winning environment and in a winning mindset, habit is all we focus on. Happenstance we can't control. Happenstance is something that is a unique variable we could not have prepared for. It happened. Let me show you what happenstance is. Happenstance for my professionals would be I always leave 30 minutes before I really need to get to work because I know there's going to be traffic. I'm always on time because of this. But this particular morning, they shut the roadway down and we had to divert and take a whole new route. And it ended up costing me 30 extra minutes to get there. So this time I actually was late, right? That's happenstance. For your students out there, happenstance would be today I was, had everything prepared. I always have my stuff prepared and ready to go. But my mom accidentally took my stuff out of her car and put it in another car, not realizing that we weren't taking that car tomorrow. And so my stuff wasn't there when I got to school that morning and we had to turn around and go get it, right? That's happenstance, not habit. You understand what I'm saying, guys? Happenstance is these really uncontrollable variables that are outside of the norm. But if you're always showing up every day and you don't have your stuff, if you're always late, it's not happenstance anymore. It is habit, and people have no leeway. This is the consequences of that. You don't get the benefit of the doubt when you're a person of habit that breeds trouble and concern to other people, right? I have a friend, actually I have multiple friends. I won't blame just one person. That when there are plans being made by this person, I know that if they say 7 o'clock, I don't even need to start getting ready until 7 because this person is guaranteed going to be an hour and a half late. Somehow, some way, they are going to find a way to show up late to everything that we do, right? Their reputation now is that this person is not punctual, right? They always blame it on happenstance. Oh, my Uber was late. Oh, my hair took too long to get ready. Oh, my car didn't start. It is not happenstance because you're always doing that and you always have an excuse. That is your habits. You don't understand the concept of time and punctuality, right? There is a reality behind this that you need to understand the consequences of. And that is when your habits are bad, people do not have any leeway for the happenstance things that may happen. Even when you're telling the truth, people don't want to hear it because you've done it so many times that no, this is who you are. This is not just some random thing that happened, right? So oftentimes I hear students say, I get blamed for things that I don't do. My teacher just always thinks that I'm talking. Your teacher does not think that you're talking if you're usually a quiet kid. She's not going to just automatically come and blame you because you're a quiet kid. No, you talk. And that's okay. You talk. You have to accept that your habit is that you do talk too much sometimes. And that because of that, whenever somebody's talking, you're going to be one of the first people that your teacher's going to think of because your habits have made a name for you. Johnny is a talker, right? Sarah likes to play with her friends when she's over there in that corner and they're sitting together. They want to play around, right? People, my career professionals, Lisa is going to be running late. Lisa's not going to be prepared. You have that reputation because of your actions in the past. You need to recognize that your reputation is not a result of happenstance. It is a result of your habits. It is what you have done on a daily basis over 365 days of a year. Every single time people interact with you, that determines whether they think that something happening is a result of happenstance or a result of habit. Let's take, the girl who cried wolf, right? She made a habit of being a liar. And so by the time that it was time for people to actually believe her and she was telling the truth, nobody wanted to hear anything that she said. Everybody just knew she's making it up. She always has an excuse. She always has a lie. How many of us out here have been the girl who cried wolf, right? How many of us have been in the situation where we're constantly the one that has to make an excuse? Every single time we turn around, we have an excuse why the project was late. We have an excuse why we couldn't turn our paper in on time. We have an excuse why our homework wasn't done. We have an excuse why we didn't meet the deadline at work. We have an excuse why our students didn't perform the way they should have performed. We always have an excuse instead of taking the accountability. That's a losing mindset. That's the reason why you're not growing. That's the reason why you're not getting to the next level. That's the reason why there's always that one person that you're chasing behind who seems to beat you out by 1 point, by 1 second, by one opportunity every single time around. It's because of your habits. You have losing habits. You have a losing mindset. You make excuses and you blame them on variables in the world rather than taking the accountability for the things you could have controlled that would have set you up for success. So to close this out, what I want you guys to think about is this. See, losers and losing mindsets rely on happenstance. Why? Because happenstance does not require accountability. Happenstance allows you to say that it's everybody else and everything else's fault, that things did not go your way. Happenstance does not allow you to change because it's not based on any system. It's based on random variables. Winners rely on habits. They have a habit-focused mindset. Everything is the result of my habits. So that means whenever something goes wrong, I know I can point to my habits and figure out what piece of my routine is causing the problem. If I'm constantly showing up late, is it because I wake up too late? Is it because I shower too long? Is it because something in my routine is putting me behind track? Everything is a part of my routine and a part of my accountability and my responsibility. I can change these things, right? That is a winner's approach, is that habit is everything because habit is a system. Anytime there's a problem in a system, you can point to the different pieces that could be causing the problem and make a change, right? So you have to ask yourself, are you going to have a losing mindset or a winning mindset? Are you going to live by the fact that happenstance and excuses rule your life and that's why things happen and things just happen to you? Or are you going to take a winning approach that says everything is under my responsibility? I can't control certain things in life, but everything that I can control is a result of my habits. And if I don't like something, I need to change the inputs if I want a different output. So guys, I want you to have that conversation with yourself. Choose which mindset you're going to operate with. And remember that it is far better to have great habits than to rely on great happenstance. Because if you have great habits, the happenstance won't even make the difference at the end of the day. So what I want you guys to do is to go to the link in the bio, guys. If you want more tips like this, sign up for my free newsletter for my students and for my teachers and for my educators and professionals. I have individual ones for all of you. Select which one you are. Are you a student or are you a professional? And from there, you guys are going to be able to get tips every single month that help you on your journey. If you are a leader in any space and you want me to come into your school, into your company, or into your organization and invoke a change, whether that be in their performance, in their leadership, or just motivating them to get to the finish line and past that, I want you to go to www.milesthemillennial.com. And there you can fill out a booking form and we'll have a consultation to sit down and see how we can help you be able to change the culture in everybody and everything that you impact. I'm so excited to work with you guys further. Thank you for watching this to the end, and I'll catch you next time. Make sure you send this to 3 friends and tell them that there is an environment out there. There is a place out there where people are being developed, impacted, and giving the strength to change their mind so they can change their life. I'll catch you guys next month. Peace.